what up, guys? Hey, for real, this is a great day.
This is a great day.
Yep, guess what? I am in Midlothian, Texas with Edwin Britt, the man, the myth, the legend, here today. We were at the Conference Center in beautiful Midlothian, Texas, which is my hometown.
This is impressive, man. I'm glad to be here.
And I was able to sleep in my own bed, get up, hang out. I got Kathy Inman here. I got Kevin E. the Monster Millennial. I got the great Edwin Britt. And you know what? There we go. What? We good?
I have my mic off. Sorry.
Hey, man, we're rolling here, bro. Kevin E's over here. He's got his mic off. Now he's got it on. But we're going to be speaking here in a little bit down in Midlothian. We're going to have a lot of fun. And we're podcasting. So if we're going to be somewhere close, Kevin E's here. We got a mobile pop-up podcast anywhere. If you guys need a podcast, you want him to come to you, he will come to you. Or we can come. We were in studio yesterday, right?
Absolutely, Michael. And you know what? You think about it, man. You go, because we've got this vendor fair going on before the event, right? Going to be a sold-out, beautiful ballroom, 300-400 people. But if you want to attract people to your booth at a vendor thing, man, you need to have a podcast. You need Kevin E, KEPX, right? You got to have that.
At KEPX Live.
Because it pulls people in. Because, you know, the big challenge you have at vendor fairs is, hey, it's kind of like pity parties. Nobody shows up. Yeah.
We can do it anywhere you want. We can do a vendor party. You can do it out by your pool. You know,
oh, yeah, man.
Dealer's choice.
That's a good
pool.
Hey,
like
now
that.
you were talking.
I've never done that. I want to try that.
Put that on the list. Hey, we've been to State Fair. We've been everywhere, guys. We've been on the lake in Austin, Texas. Kevin E has podcasts. We'll travel. Hey, also remember this, Kevin E, if they want to start their own podcast, you wrote a really cool ebook.
That's right. You can get started right now with 5 easy steps. It's free. Just shoot me an email at kpxlive@gmail.com. I'll make sure you get it.
Excellent. And Kathy's off mic right now. We're going to get a hold of her. We got LFI Shuffle Team, the tap card that we got here now. We got a lot of people wanting that. Here, smile for Kathy. She's taking pictures.
All right, Kathy.
All right, really and truly though, Edwin, I am glad that you're here. We love doing podcasts. How do you get a podcast going, or what can they catch us?
Spotify and YouTube, man. Spotify is my new favorite right now because it's a very popular app, and they now include video.
Go to Spotify, subscribe to our podcast. If they just want to listen, iTunes.
Good old-fashioned iTunes, always around.
iTunes, that's cool. So, also you can always catch it on our social statuses too. We do Inside Edge coaching, national coaching once a week. You can catch all that. Mindset of a Champion, EdgeGlobalInc.net is our master training class, Mindset of a Champion, and Life by Design. You guys get a chance to come see us, EdgeGlobalInc.net. So all the advertising sales out of the way, dude.
Fantastic. Let's get started.
That's right. Let's get this going. And I was talking with you earlier, too, and just the fact that people that like stand out, that have gratitude and that are humility to us. I mean, it's good to have ego. The reason you're here today is because of your ego. The reason you're successful, the reason people step out and do things and get into a leadership or a sales role, make money it's your ego. That lets you do it. Now, character is what keeps it in check. If you get that ego going the wrong way and get your character a little bit low and your ego starts taking over, that's when you make mistakes, and that's when you come across, just like I'm not going to say it, but a jerk, right? They come across. And what's really cool about some of the people I've met, Edwin, over the years, and I know you have, and I want you to tell. I know a couple of guys, and the most famous, the richest guys that we see, they come at us with humility. I have those guys I met, movie stars, rock stars, people that are billionaires. I've met 2 billionaires, and they told me they thanked me for taking the time to meet with them.
How about that, man? That's a trait of a champion. That's what it is.
It really is.
You know, 2 guys that stood out as you were talking about that, Michael, and I know you're going to talk about the business application of that, but I believe almost all of our listeners, and if not, you should, right? You're underprivileged, has heard the name Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer, arguably one of the greatest golfers of all time. Mm-hmm. So we associate Tiger Woods as being one of those, or maybe the greatest, and I would say that that's probably accurate. But before Arnold Palmer and before Tiger Woods, before Jack Nicklaus in the golf world, the icon, the first real icon who transcended sports into business was Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer was a phenomenal golfer. He was a self-made golfer. You know, he was a working man's golfer, and they had something called Arnie's Army, right?
Okay.
People went everywhere, and really the PGA Tour for what it is today, Arnold Palmer was the first big star and came into everybody's home. And I tell that story, Michael, as background because he was one of my heroes growing up. I know you and I had some great heroes, right? And we were fortunate to grow up when we did. There were a lot of great heroes to look up to. But you know what? Sometimes you meet your hero and they end up disappointing you, right? But when we talk about gratitude and humility, when I met Arnold Palmer, I was there on a business venture at his country club in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and meeting with his brother because we were in the licensed sports business.
That's right. Remember that.
And Arnold Palmer was one of the licensees we had. So I'm there. I had been at QVC previously the day before. And I go and I'm talking to his brother about bringing some of our product into their clubhouse, and which would be natural, right? If you're not selling product in Arnold Palmer's home course, where are you going to sell?
You ought to be. That's right.
Right. You know, I'm not the smartest guy, but I was smart enough to figure that one out.
It clicked for you.
So Jerry Palmer is talking to me, and you know, I've got a little bit of an accent, Michael. I don't know if you can tell.
Well,
that.
you know, I really don't pick it up. I think you talk normally.
Yeah, well, that's because you and I both speak Southern.
That's right.
You speak Texas Southern, I speak North Carolina
That's right.
Southern.
So there's a little bit of fluctuation there, a little bit of influx.
So Jerry Palmer says, I had no idea Mr. Palmer was there, and he says, hey, Arnie, there's this guy you need to meet. Long story short, Arnold Palmer himself happened to be there. He just finished playing a round of golf.
Wow.
And he called me over, and we started talking. And here's what I discovered about Arnold Palmer. I actually sat down. He invited me to have a bowl of soup and a beer.
Wait a second. First of all, what time was this? He just got through playing golf. He probably teed off in the morning.
Yeah, it was somewhere between 11:30 a.m. and 12:15, roughly, right?
A bowl of soup and a beer.
Hey, when Arnold Palmer invites you to sit down, you drink and half whatever he's having.
Whatever. I'm going to have what this guy's having right here.
I still remember it was a Rolling Rock, which would make sense in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, right? Rolling Rock. The little green beers, yeah. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a Keystone Light, but, you know, still pretty good.
No, it wasn't a Keystone, but, you know, that's what we drink on Paul's back porch.
That's right. But here's the deal. For about 15 minutes, I sat down, and Arnold Palmer was more interested in me than he was himself. He was an amazing listener, and he was a discerning listener. And what does that mean to our audience? Be present with gratitude and humility, and defensiveness goes down, doesn't it?
That's right.
And vulnerability and the things we kind of hold on to and hide and trust goes up. And he picked up on something. We made a connection because he said, I had a suite mate in college who was a coach down near where you said you were from. And I said, yes, sir, I know. His name is Coach Brooks, Tony Brooks. He said, Tony Brooks was your coach? And we made this connection.
Wow.
He had been a suite mate back in college, right?
Sweet mate.
So we kind of chit-chat, and just to fast forward the story a little bit, the reason I want to mention this to you guys about how you can have an impact on people with gratitude and humility, no matter who you are, to your point, Michael, was I was telling him about, I said, yeah, Coach Brooks coached my dad, my stepfather, and me. It was a legacy. And, you know, and I was kind of catching him up, and he was just so interested. But he picked up on something, and my dad and I had a little bit of we weren't as close at that time as we are today. And I kept kind of focusing back on my stepfather, and he said, tell me more about your dad. And I told him, and just without going into all the detail, my dad made a mistake early in his 20s. He recovered for that. We became very, very close, and he's a phenomenal guy and phenomenal dad. You know, failure's an event, not a person, right, Michael?
Right, that's right.
Long story short, Mr. Palmer asked me at the end, he said, have you ever been to my tournament at Bay Hill in the spring? And I said, no, sir. And he said, well, I'd like for you to come as my guest. And I get goosebumps telling this, Michael. And he leaned into me and he said, and bring your dad.
Wow.
And it was on that trip, somewhere in the 1990s, that my dad and I established a bond that we still have today, locked and loaded 20-some years later, man. That's what gratitude and humility does.
Yep, and he was definitely, I mean, just think about your status at that time, but we're all equally, right? You go in there and we meet them where they are.
Right.
Arnold really met you where you were right then. And you didn't even have any idea or even know. Gave me chills, too, when you said that. He just said, I want you to bring your dad. He sent something about your hesitation and pause when you talked about him. I mean, I've heard you tell that story before, man, and it's awesome. I think that's fantastic. I'm amazed, and ever since that story and the Gail Sayre story, which I know you tell here in a second, I've noticed how people approach me, how they approach me, excuse me, how they approach and how they receive you, and you can tell a lot about somebody's character and where they are in life. A lot of times, that same person, when he was young and dumb like me and just running around, they weren't maybe showing that gratitude. They realized they're grateful for what they have, and the day that what that day is going to bring to them.
Yeah, and it's never too late to be gracious and humble, right? We certainly need more. And Michael, you're that. And here we are in your hometown where you've been very successful, not only here, but all over the country. People know you for what you've achieved. And yet what I've always noticed about you, even here in your hometown where you're going to be speaking in just a little bit, you're very humble. So you mirror what we were talking about. And Gale Sayers, not everybody in our audience will know who Gale Sayers is, unfortunately.
Hey, look him up.
Look him up and Google
Highlights.
him. Wow. Talk about going to YouTube and watch.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. He was poetry in motion. But I had the pleasure of meeting him after his career. We were working with the NFL legends. And I remember being in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Sands Convention Center, one of the big hotels. It escapes me now. I met him in the lobby because we were going to a booth similar to what we have here today. And
it was in Vegas. You said
it was in Vegas.
Hotel. That's
yeah,
right. Okay.
Sands Convention Center, which is connected to, for whatever reason, I can't think of the hotel, but it doesn't matter. It's a big one.
the big one.
They're all big. Yeah.
The big one, down there.
Yeah. I know. I went like 5 days and never saw the sunlight.
Yeah.
So,
that happens.
Yeah, that happens. But what stays in Vegas, happens. Yeah, stays, whatever. All right. Anyway. Gale Sayers and I walked and spent 15, 20 minutes because it's a long walk from the hotel into the convention center. I found him to be the most humble man I've ever met. Here he was, an NFL Hall of Famer, highly successful, but he was so gracious, so kind. So when you take love, humility, and gratitude and you couple it with commitment, discipline, and raw talent, and that's what Gale Sayers, he epitomized that. That's what champions look like. If you want to be a champion, go watch the champions and look a little deeper, not just their results and certainly their star power, but look at the little things they do and how they treat people, and there's where you'll find a champion.
That's right. And also their work ethic, their discipline's higher than others, and the reason it is because when you go out and put good out, you get it back. And you start the day with gratitude, you lead with gratitude. That's the most important thing, especially as business owners that we get into, and entrepreneurs and solopreneurs wear a lot of hats, and business owners make a lot of decisions. Sometimes they're not all positive. Bottom line is sometimes you have a bad day. It's okay to play pissed off. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad. It's not okay to stay there. And it's also not okay to bleed it out. I mean, sometimes what I've said for a ton of years, and it's been mistaken by my oldest daughter before, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You got to fake it till you make it. And she's like, I don't even like that. She got older and got a little rebellious. And one time, I don't like it. That means you're fake and you fake things. And no. Fake it till you make it is about me. It's about faking in myself. When I'm having a really bad day, I get up and I walk out like I'm having the best day. The people I reach out to, and if you ever are just having a terrible time, having a little plum disease, right, Edwin?
That's right.
Poor little old me. And you're just upset somebody has done you wrong. There's a lot of people. It's going to happen. And people really, sometimes they don't really care. And you're on your own by yourself in that moment. Go out, treat people with humility, lead with gratitude. And when you do that, when you do something nice for someone else, when you reach out like that, before you know it, your day's flipped the script and turned on. When you fake a smile, you'll get 2 smiles back, and then all of a sudden you won't be faking it anymore. So it's not about being fake to other people. It's about faking myself out that, hey, man, today is going to be an amazing day. Don't go out and have a great day. Make it a great day. Nobody tells you that. I always tell my kids when they were little, go make it a great day, to the point where they get a little upset about that.
I love the way you end all of our podcasts because what your granny says is exactly about gratitude and humility, right?
It really is, man. And that's a really good point. That's a good cue, too, Edwin. Hey, we love being here in Midlothian, Texas. We're going to do a couple more podcasts today. We get to speak, we get to have fun. If you guys need anything, hit us up, edgeglobalinc.net, and grab our Mindset of a Champion virtual class. It's 52 weeks, $7 a pop. And if you can't remember anything else here, go back and write a couple of points. That was some really great stuff, dude, by the way.
Thanks, buddy.
Really, really was. And if you can't remember anything else, like my granny used to tell me, Edwin, just be nice, man. Because people won't always remember what you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. See you, brother.
Out, buddy.